This is Fridays with Farhan, episode 1. Ah man, I might change that intro, but I may not. So today I want to introduce to you what is Fridays with Farhan. I'm here at the Toronto Reference Library. I actually feel like Gary V in the Ask Gary V show. Here, check this out. This is such a dope library. It looks like the fucking Bellagio. There's 6 floors. And there's like all these TV screens. I don't know. Yeah, you see it there. You know, it's like the sports arena in a fucking casino. Super cool. So today I'm gonna answer questions, and I will also mention a bit about phase 1 and phase 2. A lot of you are asking questions about phase 1, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. Then I'm gonna get into the questions, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how you can submit your questions, and I will answer them every Friday. So what is Fridays with Farhan? Fridays with Farhan, or Fridays with Farhan, is essentially a series. I'm gonna do it every Friday. It's gonna be an episode, so once a week. All the questions for that week will be answered on Friday. So I will either sit here or I will be somewhere, and I will answer one by one all the questions that have been asked. Now, if you ask a question which is I don't know, maybe the team just didn't pick your question. I don't know, but so try to submit like cool questions, because the team is filtering those and sending them to me, and then I answer them. So today I'm going to answer like 4 or 5 questions. Now, a lot of you are asking questions about erectile dysfunction, about increasing testosterone, about NoFap, things like that. So, as you know, we have now moved on to phase 2. Right? Phase 1 is done. All the testosterone stuff, hormone stuff, NoFap, fat loss and muscle gain and increasing testosterone and dopamine receptors and this and that. All of that is pretty much done. However, a lot of you are stuck in phase 1, and I don't blame you. It is very hard to get out of phase 1, right? There's little bit kinks in phase 1 that I'm gonna still work out my entire life. You know, it's a lifelong journey. Now, for those of you who are stuck in phase 1, or who are really asking those tough questions about things that are in phase 1, that, you know, the 300 and something videos that existed on YouTube on our channel that still exist before we started phase 2. If you are still asking about that stuff, don't worry. Lala, Manveer, Jev, Sunny, me, all of us, we are working on the fastest way to get you unstuck. We are working on the fastest way so you get out of phase 1, progress into phase 2. Because we're not going to leave anyone behind, right? Especially if you are one of those hard workers, one of our fans, one of the people who have been with our family for many years. We're not leaving you behind. We're not going to leave anyone behind. So we're working on that product, the fastest way that you can climb from phase 1 to phase 2. So all of your little questions about testosterone and NoFap and porn and erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, anything about sexual health, all of those things will be answered and completed, and will remove all of your doubts in the product that we're working on as we speak. So stay tuned. Now let me get to these questions. Also, before I start the questions, I want to make sure you know how to ask me these questions. So these questions are taken from either the Facebook page, so Biggest Balls in the Game, Balls with a Z page, or YouTube videos. So submit your questions either in the comments below on YouTube or in the Facebook group, Biggest Balls in the Game. Add yourself to that group ASAP. All right, first question is from Unknown. Bro, can you talk about the science behind you taking risks? Like, does cortisol goes up when you screamed to that famous Indian guy and stuff like that? All right, so first and foremost, it doesn't matter. I think this question is stupid. I'm gonna be very honest with you, and the intention and feeling, the heart behind the question is very pure, very authentic. So thank you, and I will answer that question for you in my way, because this is the problem with science, right? So science used to be in arts, right? Arts used to be everything, and now recently, industrial revolution, scientific revolution, cognitive revolution, we invented this thing called science with like control and experiments and the scientific method, and, procedure and hypotheses and conclusions. And at the end of the day, it's gonna slow you down. Now, what you have to ask yourself is, why do you give a shit about knowing the science of taking risks? Now, if you're asking because you want permission, then think to yourself, why do you need permission? Because a lot of the stuff you do, a lot of the videos you watch, a lot of the podcasts you watch, a lot of the books you read, you going to university, all of that is because you're seeking permission to do something. That is an incorrect approach. Now, if I told you, yes, cortisol increases when I screamed Shah Rukh Khan's name, so what? When one hormone goes up, another hormone's gonna come down, or not. Or it'll go up for 10 seconds and come down. Cortisol increase can be positive or negative, right? So like, who gives a shit? Do you wanna take risks or not? If you do, then take them, right? Now, if you're looking for motivation on how to take risks, what kind of mindset to have to take risks, then post those questions below and I'll answer them in the next Fridays with Farhan. But why do you give a shit about the science? I'm a fucking scientist and I'm telling you it doesn't matter. Like, take action and let this guy do its thing. Let this guy do its thing. 3 billion years of evolution, bro. Trust yourself. Fuck. 2. Kushal Shah asks, glad to see you posting again, brother. Any advice for breath work before entering the cold shower, or just roll out of bed into the shower and try to keep calm? Very good question. Now, one thing that I learned from Elliot is that one reason why they say that you burn calories during a cold shower is because you're going, sorry for that shake. You're doing that, right? And doing the shivering will allow you to lose calories because you're moving and you're breathing so fast. One thing a lot of you don't realize is that we lose pounds during sleep at night because of carbon dioxide going out and oxygen coming in. So all the carbon that you're losing using your breath, all the carbon you're losing from your body, that is the weight loss that happens at night when you're sleeping. So, preparation, no need. I just go in there. And the breath work happens automatically, organically, when I'm in the shower and I'm going like that. So that's what I would recommend. No need for any breath work beforehand. Now, if you are interested in just general breath work, one thing I do is when I'm waiting in line, when I am in the park and I kind of want to take a rest, when I'm in the steam room, one thing I do is I breathe into my balls, using my belly, and then when I come up, I squeeze my pelvic region, right? It's called a Kegel exercise. A Kegel, it's like you're like contracting your pelvic region, right? So it's like, I just did it. So when I breathe in, I breathe into my belly, I feel it, it goes, oxygen goes in. And then when I breathe out, I'm contracting that pelvic region and I'm doing what is known as a Kegel, Kegel, named after Dr. Kegel. So do that for your breath work. Try to breathe with your belly all the time. By the way, I am now on the 38th hour of my fast. I'm gonna try to do 10 days. So motivate me, post comments below to motivate me and give me a thumbs up. Next, unknown. Love your videos, bro. Can you tell me what you put in your spice shots and what time you usually take them? Comment, this could be an individual video on its own, maybe. No, it's not an individual video. So what do I put in my spice shots? Apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons, hot water, which is reverse osmosis, but it doesn't matter. You can use tap water. Make sure your city has good tap water. I use cumin, turmeric, ginger, garlic, cayenne pepper, Uh, what else do I use? Oh, by the way, the turmeric, ginger, and garlic are solid. They're not powders. This is all like solid, real shit. What else do I do in my spice shots? There's one thing, I don't know what it's called. Oh, cardamom. Cardamom. That's it. Easy. Oh, when do I usually take them? In the morning before I go out, before I leave the house. JP asks, inspiring and exciting video. I have 2 ideas for you for upcoming videos. One is to talk about how you are able to travel to these different cities and have these amazing experiences without working a typical 9-to-5 job like most people. I envy your experiences. I work a 9-to-5 job because I don't have any ideas to start a business and I don't know how else to make good money. All right, perfect fucking question. I love it. So it all has to do with minimization. Look at me, okay? I get my clothes, very simple, basic clothes. Check it out, right? You got my, check this out. I have my nice minimal shoes right there, right? So I would say it's about not giving a shit about materialistic possessions. So what do I mean by that? I cook my own food, so I save tons of money on that. I eat all organic and I still save tons of money. I don't really buy that many clothes. The clothes I wear, I buy in the season. So before the summer, I buy a few things. Before the winter, I buy a few things. I don't buy shoes all the time. I don't waste my money on buying drinks. I don't waste my money on anything that is superficial, materialistic. I just don't. I take the metro everywhere. I don't buy a car because I don't want to have that liability. I do Airbnb everywhere, so I don't have to give them the last month's deposit. I live in a house with 5 bedrooms, and I live in one of those bedrooms, and usually the other 4 are empty, so I have the whole house to myself. So I've managed that for myself. I managed something like that. So I can leave for Indonesia tomorrow and not lose much money. I'll only lose like a week of rent because I've already paid for the month. I won't lose the last month's deposit, next month, the month after. So Airbnb is another trick. Now you mentioned good money. Now if you need to support a luxurious life, then it's gonna be hard. You need to have a hardcore, like badass, 5 to 10,000 a month type business. And it might take you a couple of years to get there, 3 years to get there. If you want it right away, it won't happen. However, you can teach English. You can tutor math, science. There's a lot of websites, like my friend has a website called Grade Slam. Roberto is a friend of mine, one of my best friends in the world. Grade Slam, GRADESLAM.org or .com. They're a badass company based out of Montreal. You can tutor online. You don't need to be anywhere. You can help students with homework, and you can make, I don't know, $40 an hour, $30, $40 an hour, something like that. If you teach English, you can probably make something like $20 an hour. Depends on what you're good at, right? If you're good at something, then you need to give yourself like maybe 3 to 6 months off to really learn how to build funnels, how to do email marketing, how to build lists, how to shoot videos, how to do podcasts. You need to really immerse yourself. And there's only one difference between you and me, and that is pain. I have way more pain here in my fucking heart. And that is why I dropped everything to do what I'm doing. That's all it is, man. It's motivation. I want it more than you. You just don't want it. All right, unknown. I'm just wondering why you chose to do RSD Immersion. I mean, they seem like a bunch of jerks, fucking bitches, with a non-ethical and manipulative way. They seem to be gorgeous with a lot of bullshit for desperate young men. I think by following them, you end up overthinking the friendships you could have with women and blowing it. Yes and no. The reason I did it is because I was on a very downward spiral, very low point in my life, unable to make eye contact with people, unable to have any kind of social interaction, unable to say thank you at the supermarket. I was very antisocial, right? This is, now with the scientific community, I was very good, right? So if you look at me, going to a scientific conference, I could deliver amazing presentations. But saying hello to a girl at Starbucks, smiling at a girl in the street, stopping a girl with her dog to pet the dog, meeting girls at the museum, doing improv, doing Latin dancing and becoming really good at it, going to the gym and meeting people that way. anything that has to do with social stuff, right? Like if I'm at a store looking for clothes and I see a girl and saying, hey, you have a really nice style. All of that stuff I couldn't do. So RSD taught me that, and I have a lot to thank RSD for. They're amazing. However, you have to take the good and leave the bad. So all the bad stuff in terms of the manipulation, the deceit, and the fucking bitches, I didn't take with me. I just left it, right? I didn't accept it. It's not in my reality. However, I did all those exercises of negative emotion and calling girls dogs, and I did all that stuff. I did the Julian game and the Jeffy game and the Tyler game and the Todd game. I did all that stuff. Why? Because I wanted this guy to be exposed to everything, to be exposed to all the different nuances of positive and negative emotion. So it really helped me with that. It helped me with improv. It helped me with responding to people who aren't giving the same feedback. It allowed me to, when someone is blasé and someone doesn't have very much expression on their face, how to handle that, right? So it really taught me those things. So I have a lot to thank RSD for. I mean, dude, I was director of immersion. I was managing 46 students and 16 interns at one point. That was amazing, right? I mean, I learned a lot of business skills. I went to Boston to live with Papa for 4 days. Papa is Nick Ko, RSD Papa, and learn how to manage people, manage groups, recruit interns. I mean, I became so good at recruitment, like HR stuff, right? And that allowed me to get that position with Elliot Hulse, become his director. So, I mean, dude, these guys are amazing if you get to know them. And of course, a lot of it's marketing, right? So the way they're making videos, the way they're doing their products, a lot of it's gonna be marketing, but that's okay, because you have to leave the bad and take the good from all their products, which are phenomenal. Well, not all of them, but some of them are really good. Max is really good. All right, last question, Julian Hyam. Hells yeah. Keep up the great work, Farhan. If you could please talk about what influenced your move to Colombia, and if there's anything you would have done differently that would have made your trip a great success. Best. Good question. Luke Bonner is my best friend in the world, lives in Australia. He's also my spiritual mentor. I talk about him a lot in these videos. So Luke, I call Luke. I was in Brooklyn at the time, and this was before I did my shave off head, which you probably saw a video already, or you're gonna see it later when I shaved my complete head off. Oh my God, it looked so different. So sorry for the burp. I'm trying not to burp so much, and makes it unprofessional. So Luke realized that I was depressed, because I told him I was depressed. I was in Brooklyn, all the Manhattan, New York, Brooklyn type atmosphere. It's very depressive. So I told Luke about this. He's like, dude, get your ass to Medellin. Book your ticket right now. So I went on Kayak and booked my ticket right then and there for the next day. I left all my bags. All I took was this phone that I'm recording this video on. That's all I took. I left my bags, I left my clothes, I left my laptop, I left everything, all my equipment, everything. And I went to Colombia. And so your question is, what influenced my move? I was depressed. I wanted to get into a culture which is chill, tranquilo, tranquila. Learn Latin dancing, learn a new language, right? And I did 2 months of immersive Spanish, immersive dancing, and became decent at it. I can speak Spanish to girls here at the Latin club. I speak, around whenever someone speaks Spanish, I speak with them. It's easy for me now. I love it. I even go to Spanish cultural exchange here in Toronto sometimes. So essentially the pain, the suffering, the depression was why I went to Colombia. Simple as that. I was in a very, very low state of mind. And what could have made my trip a greater success? Ooh, good. I would say networking. Network. I was on this WhatsApp group. It was called Medellin Sanity or something. And it was a great bunch of guys. I asked them any questions I had. Great, what are the best restaurants, where to go for clubs, where to go for the gym, where to go for relaxation, what different, tourist attractions to see. All that stuff I asked on that group. They were really, really helpful guys. They're all digital nomads. They travel the world. So I got a lot of insights from them about Brazil and Kiev and Santiago and Buenos Aires and some places in Europe and Thailand and Indonesia. I really got exposure from these people. So I would say what I would have done differently. I guess I did that, so that's not what I would do differently. You're asking me how I could have changed, like my. I would say maybe go out more. I didn't go out at all. I think I didn't. I didn't go out to any clubs at all in those 2 months. So I think I should have done that. I should have like expanded my horizons instead of going to sleep at 10 p.m. every day. I would say that would be one. That's one thing I would have done different. I didn't sleep with any prostitutes. There's girls there you can get for like an hour for $80 who are much, much hotter than girls you see in Vegas and for $800. Probably should have done that a couple of times to get that experience. I've never like slept with a prostitute, so that would have been a cool experience in a place like that. Yeah, what else? I would say stayed longer. That's what I should have done differently, because I got really depressed there too towards the end because it was too chill for me. No one was doing anything. There was no productivity. There was no growth for me there anymore. So I left. I became super depressed and I basically booked a ticket and left on the day of. And even like 3 weeks of my rent, which was about 750 US, I just gave it to a friend of mine. I just gave my apartment to a friend of mine. Great dude. He was my first Airbnb landlord. So I gave him my thing. I $750. It's okay. Take it as a gift. I left. So I would say stayed perhaps a bit longer. Yeah. I even couldn't get a refund for my $600 of Latin dancing, which I left, like 45 hours I had left. But you know what? Fuck it. I left. I didn't give a shit, because what was more important is how I felt right here and what I needed to get done. So these are the things I would do differently for Colombia. Cool. Thanks a lot for your questions. This is Fridays with Farhan. Maybe I'll change yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll change the greeting every single time. This is Fridays with Farhan. Let's see what happens. Episode 2 coming up next Friday. Post your questions on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks, guys and girls, for posting. And yeah, give a thumbs up. This may be on YouTube. If it is, give a thumbs up. Comment more questions. Bring it on. Good stuff. Leave the negativity out. Any negativity, it's not even going to get to me. You're going to be ignored. So none of that shit. And what else? Oh yeah, subscribe to the channel and tell your friends about it and share. Let's do this. Let's become a badass community and keep spreading the love. Ciao, man and woman.